Beek, and I'm a home gardener. My grandfather was a very large home gardener in southwest Michigan for a number of years, and so I spent a lot of time in their home area, and that really put a note into myself about what I wanted to do. We ended up moving from central Indiana to Cedarburg, Wisconsin, and moved out into the country, which was farming area at that time. And I think that is what instilled me. From the time I went to college until the time I graduated college, we grew our farm from about 40 acres up to about 1,200 acres, and we were raising row crops, primarily corn, wheat, soybeans, for sale. When I graduated from college, we expanded and we were farming about 1,400 acres, custom harvesting about another 800 acres, and then we decided to add a dairy herd. That worked very well until I broke my back into that, and the decision was made to leave, sell the herd at that point. Number of changes, and eventually I relocated to northeast Wisconsin, the Green Bay, De Pere area here, and actually met my wife here about 25 years ago, and it gave me an opportunity to start gardening again. And so what you see today is the development that we've made. We started out with one 4x8 plot, and now we have roughly about 600 square feet of intensive gardening. It's no-till. I do have a small Mantis rototiller in my garage that hasn't been turned on in about 6 years. So we do everything with hand tools. We do use what's called a broad fork, and we use that for aerating the soil, but everything else we just add compost and create no-dig gardens. And so I haven't used a spade to turn over the soil in many, many years. We try to have a very diverse group of plants, even though, as you'll see in some of the pictures, that there are beds with sole monoculture plantings in them. We do have four-year rotations that are going on, so all of our beds are rotated on an ongoing basis every year. So we have alliums, we have brassicas, we have the tomato or the nightshade family, and then we have a legume or greens that we grow. So we try to rotate them every year. We use cover crops. We started slow, but over the last 4 to 5 years we've developed an effort to try to get every bed covered with cover crops every fall. But we will utilize either cereal rye or oats as a cereal crop, depending on what the next crop is going to be. We will use some tillage radishes or daikon radish for some deeper penetrating roots, and we use buckwheat to get in as a phosphorus accumulator, and we will use Austrian winter peas for a nitrogen source. Compost is probably our saving salvation. Every bed should be getting compost every year, especially in the fall. Sometimes we run out, sometimes we don't, but it's our goal to make sure we have enough compost. We do not use any other fertilizers on here other than some trace minerals, so we do put on some sulfur and we do put on azomite. The biggest challenge that we have with our garden is making sure that we find a home for all of our food. A lot of it we will take here and for our own personal use, but there's always somebody that can use it, and we do share a little bit with some folks that we get our inputs for our compost from, but our neighbors will get food from that, and when we do run excess, it does go to the NEW Community Center. Making sure that we find homes and make sure nothing makes it into the spoiled bin from that standpoint, and that's not been a problem. I would say that our biggest success is, since we've gone to the no-till, no-dig method, is that the health of the soil has come so far. We've got much greater water infiltration. We've seen much higher population of earthworms, and our weed pressure has reduced so significantly. The importance of soil health is critical to the health of the plant, because the interesting thing is that the plant feeds off of the living parts of the soil and the bugs in the soil that are releasing nutrients to the plants, and the plants release nutrients to the bugs that are in the soil. So you want to have that healthy balance working on an ongoing basis, and that will give you the healthiest plant that you can expect. The biggest thing that a gardener can do to improve the soil is to put something that was alive in the past back into the soil, whether that's compost, grass clippings, leaves, something to cover the soil. You want to protect the soil and you want to feed the soil, because the microorganisms in the soil feed off of the organic matter that you're putting back into it. That's how you get healthy soil. I think the biggest suggestion that I would have, and I don't know that it's advice because I learn every year, I think the suggestion I always had is, don't be afraid to try. Try something new, but think about what you're trying to do. If you're going to try to make your soil drain better, think about that. If you're trying to make your soil more fertile, think about that. But try some things. And what you've seen today is an organic garden. We really don't use any pesticides or herbicides, and there's very, very healthy plants out there, and it can be done, and it can go a long ways to feeding you. So don't be afraid to try.